access and capacity, and our goal really is to move more people in the corridor. The purpose and need of the project is to come up with and develop a transportation solution that will improve the conditions throughout the corridor by reducing congestion, adding additional travel choices, improving travel predictability, and improving roadway safety. So just to give you a little feel for some of the background of the project, this project is following a comprehensive agreement that was signed between the Virginia Department of Transportation and 95 Express Lanes, sometimes known as Transurban. They're part of that partnership. And that allowed the construction of the 95 express lanes that are out there today, 29 miles of express lanes that extend from Turkey Cock, the ramp at Turkey Cock, all the way down to Stafford County. And that comprehensive agreement also contemplated the fact that there may be in a future extension of the express lanes north into to the vicinity of the Eads Interchange. So last year in November of 2015, the Department of Transportation and 95 Express Lanes entered into a framework agreement. This framework agreement outlines some broad understandings and talks about the fact that we're going to work together to finalize a scope of the project, to come up with a finance plan, and then a final agreement. One of the things that's in that framework agreement is a commitment to provide a long-term transit investment, and that would be through an annual transit payment that would be escalated annually throughout the whole term of the 95 Express Lanes contract. And just so you know, that term, when it was originally signed, was about 73 years. So there's, from the time this project is implemented, it'll be about a 70-year term that those transit payments will be made throughout the whole term. The improvements that are proposed are largely going to be built within the existing right-of-way, and most of that will be confined to the existing area where the HOV lanes operate today within the broader 395 corridor. So the project scope is to expand and convert the existing 2 HOV lanes to 3 lanes, and then they'll be converted from HOV to what we call HOT, or high occupancy toll lanes. Similar to the 95 express lanes, these tolls will be throughout the day whenever the lanes are operated, and they will be variable pricing so that the speed limits are maintained to ensure free travel flow for those people that are on the lanes and for the buses and transit and HOV drivers that are on the lanes. We'll also be looking at improving the connections at Eads Street. That's been one of the focus of the team that we've been working on so far. We'll be installing signage related to the tolling. There also will be an active traffic management system, and that's where we would have dynamic message boards to help with safety and advising motorists of conditions on the roadway. Sound walls is another part of our environmental assessment, looking at the noise impacts in the corridor. And based on our earlier studies, we do anticipate that there will be a number of sound walls that will be considered during the preliminary and final design in the corridor. And then, as I mentioned, we'll be doing a transit and traffic demand management study throughout this year, and that will be to identify projects that would be eligible to use the funding that would come through the toll payments. So we're working on initiating an environmental assessment. The assessment will be an environmental, FHWA is our federal partner, and they've agreed that that's the level of document that we are going to be moving forward with. We sent out scoping letters. These advise all of our agencies that we coordinate with about what the scope of the project is. And we've started to initiate our technical studies looking at traffic. The traffic will inform and provide input so we can do our air analysis, our noise analysis, and then we'll be looking at all the other environmental impacts along the corridor in addition to those. We have our public information meeting, of course, tonight, and we had one on Monday night. And then we're anticipating that we would have a draft environmental assessment available for the public to review and comment on in August of this year. This slide just shows a typical section, and you can see here our focus on those middle HOV lanes. The typical section on the top shows two lanes with the shoulders on either side. When we convert to the 3 lanes, we'll have a shoulder on one side of the road, a 10-foot shoulder, and then a smaller shoulder on the left. It's really just a buffer area between the two, between the lane and the barrier. One of the things that we have in this area of the corridor is there's quite a bit of the corridor that has the double-faced guardrail. That will all be converted to a concrete barrier, which is a safer, more effective barrier separation between the two systems. In terms of the express lanes access, once the system is converted to HOT, all of the places where you currently access the HOV lanes will be converted to HOT access. So there will be toll gantries, there'll be signage about what the tolls would be, and those access they won't really be changed other than they'll just be converted, and we'll be adding signage. The one place that is not true is at the new ramp that has just been opened in January. That ramp is coming from the south and allows people to exit the HOV lanes at Seminary Road. That ramp will remain HOV and transit use all of the time. So even in the off-peak periods, to access that ramp, you would need to be HOV3 or be in a bus or a van pool. These maps are at the back, and I would encourage you to go look at the maps, especially if there's a specific area of interest. We have people at the back that will be able to answer questions. I'm just going to walk through these fairly quickly now. I know you can't really see the detail, but just to give you a broad overview of the project. This is starting from the south and moving to the north. Here you can see the Duke Street interchange. In this area, there's really no change to the HOV HOT access other than just converting it here at this location. This map shows, of course, Seminary Interchange. That's where we are today, and or close by. Again, as I mentioned, the ramps that are going to and from DC, those will convert to HOT, but the ramp at Seminary would remain HOV. This shows Route 7 and then Shirlington, and you might recall back in the 2009 to 2011 time period when this project was being studied previously, there was a lot of discussion around the Shirlington Interchange and adding new access here. It was a very controversial, much discussed access point. We are not proposing any change. There will not be new access at this interchange. And so that's one of the big differences between what you might have seen previously if you were involved in any of that discussion that happened back in the 2009 to 2011 time frame. And here we see Glebe Road. Again, no changes here. And then we get to the Pentagon and the East Street interchange. And we are rolling out tonight. We did this Monday night as well. This is kind of the first time we're showing the public some of our thoughts about what could happen at the East Street interchange and what we think would be an improvement. And basically, we're looking at trying to maximize the use of the existing ramps that are already there today by reversing some of the movements during the peak periods. And so today, this ramp that you see that I'm pointing to, that is a reversible, or that is a one-way ramp that always functions in the southbound direction. And what we're talking about doing is shifting that the point where the system changes from reversible to both way, we're going to shift that to the north and make use of that ramp in the PM peak period and in the AM peak period to reverse that direction. This just shows the AM operation, and then there's another slide that shows the operation in the evening. I would point out also at this location that one of the keys to all of this is that the Pentagon Reservation is a very key area for transit in the corridor. There are many buses, many carpools, van pools that are getting into that area to access the metro station that's there on the Pentagon property. And so we've been coordinating very closely with the Pentagon, also working with our partners at Arlington County as well, and others to talk about what kind of changes might be needed to make this whole area function better. And some of those do include some adjustments to traffic circulation and traffic on the Pentagon property. And so we've been working closely with them, and you can see when you look at these slides that we are proposing a series of traffic signals that would be coordinated and adjusting some of the traffic flow that will help both buses and carpoolers get in and out of that area more easily than what they do today. And the hope is that that would then free up some capacity that's much needed on 395. So one of the things to talk about just a little bit in the framework agreement, there's some things that are on the public side of the fence, so to speak, that are responsibilities that we have, and then there's other responsibilities that 95 Express teams will have. So you can see on the left here, those are VDoT and DRPT responsibilities. So we are working on the environmental assessment. That's an effort that we are leading. We are working on the interchange modification report, which is basically a summary of all the traffic impacts of doing the project. We look at both the traffic, how it will flow on 395, as well as areas to the north and south of our proposed improvements. And then we also look at the surrounding roadway networks to understand how those might be or not be impacted by the project. We're also coordinating with federal, state, and local agencies. We're doing the transit study, and then our role, like it is here tonight, is to do public outreach to make sure that the public has an opportunity to provide input, to understand what the project is about, and to make sure that your voice is heard in the project development. 95 Express partners are responsible to do the preliminary engineering and design. They're also doing cost estimating for the project, and I would say that the department is doing our own independent estimate as well. We don't just take their word for it, so we look and compare with our own costs. They will be responsible to come up with a finance plan, and when I say finance plan, it would be to pay for the design, the construction, the implementation of the whole project. They will be also doing a design build procurement, hiring a contractor who will be responsible for design and construction of the project. And then they also are responsible for community outreach. Their outreach is a little bit different, focused on educating the public about how to use the lanes, what the rules of the road are once they're converted to express lanes. So they have a little bit different role, but we go hand in hand. We've been joining 95 Express as they've been out to meet HOAs and respond to questions at those meetings. So it's a joint effort. So now I'd like to invite Tim Rosenman to come up and talk a little bit about the transit study.
Okay, thank you, Susan. As Susan said, my name is Tim Rosenman. I'm with the Department of Rail and Public Transportation. We're a sister agency to VDoT. We exist under the Commonwealth Transportation Board, and we provide funding, capital and operating funding to the local bus systems in Virginia as well as to Metro. We provide funding for commuter assistance programs run by the local governments, and we also support the state-funded Amtrak service as well as freight rail. So our role on this project is to lead a transit TDM study, but before I get to that, it's worth noting Susan showed a map of what will eventually be the regional express network that now includes I-95 and I-495, I-66, both inside and outside the Beltway are being added to that network, and I-395, this project is being added to that network. And For each of those projects, it is a principle of the Commonwealth and of this administration to add guaranteed funding for multimodal solutions as part of those projects. And the exact mechanism is a little bit different for each project, but it is something that the Commonwealth has committed to. Our goal is to move more people in the project corridors, and the benefits of the multimodal program include both improved mobility, new diverse travel choices, and enhanced transportation safety and travel reliability. So as far as the I-95, 395 transit funding is concerned, it is a guaranteed annual payment. It will come from the toll revenues. The amount of the payment has not been determined yet. That's subject to negotiation between the Commonwealth and the 95 Express partners. And there are traffic and revenue studies that are currently ongoing that will inform the annual transit payment. The DRPT, I've mentioned this several times, we're leading a transit and TDM, or transportation demand management, for those that aren't familiar with the term, study. It includes the city of Alexandria, it includes Arlington County, Fairfax County, Prince William County, and Stafford County. Those are all jurisdictions in which the actual corridor lies. There's a short extension of the 95 express lanes proposed for Stafford County. And then it also includes two regional transit organizations, the Northern Virginia Transportation Commission and the Potomac and Rappahannock Transportation Commission, and we've actually added the Virginia Railway Express to the key stakeholder group as well. So as far as the study itself, it is going to identify a series of transit and transportation demand management enhancements that will be funded by the annual transit investment payment for 2040 and beyond planning horizon. The study area includes Arlington County. The northern limit of the study area is Arlington County, Pentagon Interchange, and it does extend all the way to Stafford County, where a short extension of the express lanes is proposed. The project will end up coming up with a list, a program of eligible projects, and those things could include new bus service. Those things could include park and ride lots, and those things could include TDM program enhancements. And then I think my last slide is just an update of sort of where we are in the study. DRPT, we issued the task order last Monday, about 9 days ago. We actually had a kickoff meeting that included all those jurisdictions on two previous slides. The city of Alexandria was well represented at the staff level. We're committing to 2 to 3 rounds of public meetings, and we are committed to having a draft report for people's comments in November, and then that will go into a final report in December, and that would inform the procurement of the project. So I think at this point I'm turning it back over to Susan, and then we're going to open it up for questions.
Okay, thanks, Tim. So public outreach to date, we've been out, as I said, with a number of key stakeholders. The Pentagon, we've had quite a number of meetings with them. I would also note that we have coordinated with the District of Columbia and their Department of Transportation. We know that this project heads into DC, and while we understand we can't fix everything that's wrong with our transportation system, we are coordinating to the maximum extent that we can. We've had a number of community briefings, and certainly if your organization would like us to come out, please let us know. You can let us know at the desk, the sign-in desk, and we'll work to arrange a briefing to your community. We do have a website set up on our VDoT website for the project, and we do have information up. The boards that you see tonight, along with the presentation, have been posted and are available. So just some of our key milestones to give you a broad overview. The orange there is kind of where we are tonight with our public information meetings. We do plan to have a public hearing in September. This would be after the environmental document has been out for review prior to that meeting. And then a preliminary financial agreement will be available in October. And that will be kind of the first time that we'll have a sense of what the annual transit payment would be. I know there's been a lot of interest about that, what that payment might look like. But it is a process where we're, continuing to look at what the terms of the agreement will be. We're still trying to figure out what the cost and the scope of the project is, and that also, will have an impact on that transit payment. We're looking at a design build award and conclusion of our environmental document and our transit study all by the end of this year. And then that would allow us to enter into a final agreement in January. And then the project would begin design and construction with the design build work getting underway in the spring of 2017, and we anticipate about a 2-year construction schedule with the lanes being open in 2019. I did want to talk a little bit about our a sister project, I'll call it, that's also underway at this time. And in fact, we have a public hearing tomorrow night on this project, and that is our 395 southbound widening project between Duke and Edsel Street, or Duke Street and Edsel Road. And this is to widen from 3 to 4 lanes. There's a short section there where you lose a lane, and it's a consistent congestion issue. So we are looking at trying to implement both projects concurrently. We're talking with Transurban about that and about how we might accomplish that. Right now, there's no funding identified, and we're still in discussions about how that might happen, but that is our goal, just because there's a lot of benefit to have both projects occur at the same time. They share a barrier separation. It would be easier in terms of managing the lane closures and coordination between contractors if it's all done under the same contract. So that's our goal, and we're working on how to implement that. We do have Calvin Britt is at the back of the room, our VDoT project manager, and he's here if you have any questions about that project. And for any of you that go tomorrow night, we will have a presence from this project at that meeting as well, just to answer any questions that might come up about this project. So I've talked a little bit about how you can provide input, certainly written comments. You can provide comments through the court reporter. Email comments are fine. We do put a date on our receiving comments, but I want to make it clear that the door is open for comments, and certainly if you have some as the project progresses, we still want to hear them. We want to keep the door open in terms of communication. This is just so we can kind of summarize the comments that we received as part of this public information meeting. And so this just talks about our upcoming meetings, which now there's only one left since we are at the second one tonight. So we have at Bryn Mawr Park Elementary School tomorrow night is for the 395 widening project. So with that, our presentation is concluded. There are 2 mics on either side, and if you have questions that you would like to ask the team, I'm going to ask the team to come up and help respond to questions that you might have. And so we're here to do that for a while. You're certainly welcome to go back to the hallway if you prefer to do that. So either way.